Well, hello everybody, and welcome to Steelbook Obsessed. My name is Jake, and today I have the pleasure of talking about Antiviral, the new 4K from Severin by director Brandon Cronenberg. Severin was nice enough to send this early my way, and I have been a fan of Brandon Cronenberg's work ever since I first laid my eyes on Possessor. We have a lot of different boutique labels putting out Brandon Cronenberg's work, which I absolutely love. We have this beautiful Second Sight box set of Possessor. Love this movie with a passion. Turbine Media, I don't have the Steelbook for Infinity Pool, but I do have this very cool media book for Infinity Pool. I love the gloss pops that are on that sucker. And now we have Severin with his directorial debut with Antiviral. How is this movie overall? How does this movie stack up with the rest of his filmography? I will let you know that, and I'll let you know the three main factors in which I grade physical media. We have the packaging, we have the TNA effect, the transfer in audio, and we have the special features, the meat and potatoes inside of that disc. If you like physical media reviews of any kind, make sure you give this video a like, the channel a subscription. I greatly appreciate it. But let's start talking a little bit about Antiviral. Whenever I talk about films, I don't like to spoil them because I feel like I'm just here to recommend things to you. If you like what I am trying to, if you like my taste, I guess, my taste in movies, go ahead, give this a shot. Antiviral is very unique. It's a very sterile film. There's a lot of just whites, like very clean whites. There's a cool special feature on here that I'll get into later that kind of goes into how this movie feels so clinically put together, I guess. To just go over the main synopsis of Antiviral. What if celebrity culture got a little bit more intimate, I guess? Like that is the very meat and potatoes version of what Antiviral is kind of going at right now. I guess not right now. When this movie was made in like 2011, 2012, it was very popular for paparazzi to get as close to celebrities as possible. I'm talking about Britney Spears and her whole breakdown, like 2008, Lindsay Lohan. This kind of gets fan interaction with celebrities at a whole different level. What if a celebrity got sick and there was a company out there that paid to get this sickness from a celebrity, and for a small amount or a big amount, it doesn't really go into how much these procedures cost, but you could get this sickness interjected into your system and feel even that much closer to your favorite celebrities. I think that is such a unique idea for a film. And that was actually a short film from Brandon Cronenberg back when he was in college in 2008. And that idea got broadened out into a feature-length film, which is Antiviral. I would say this movie feels a little bit more like Possessor than it does Infinity Pool, just because there is a lot of I guess there's original imagery in Infinity Pool. There's a lot of original imagery in a lot of Cronenberg's work, but I would say, you know how like the dripping effect of Possessor is in this, like I love the visual eye that Brandon Cronenberg has, and that is on display here in Antiviral to a lesser extent because this was his first film. There wasn't that much of a budget to it, but you could still see the creativity that he had flowing through his veins. And it's kind of crazy because this movie was made in 2012 and it took him another 7-8 years to make Possessor because this movie didn't really go over too well. But ever since like we went through COVID, it's different. It hits a little bit different. This is my first time watching this movie, so I can see how it didn't play in 2012, but now that we have kind of gone through what we have as a society gone through with the whole epidemic of everything, this just seems like it's on a totally different echelon and a lot more relatable than probably what it was in 2012. But let's get to the transfer and audio side of things. Like I said, this is the first time that I watched this film, and the whites are shockingly white. There's a 4K and a Blu-ray inside of this, and it says theatrical cut. I'm curious if there is a director's cut of Antiviral that is floating around out there somewhere, because both of these are the theatrical cut. And yeah, I thought the transfer was fine. I don't think it's anything that's going to blow your mind, because like I said, this movie was shot in 2K originally. There was a 35mm print that they used to make a 4K extraction from on this disc. So there is a new 4K transfer of the film, but I think it can only look so good. There's a special feature on here that talks about how there were two different cuts of the film, not theatrical and directors, but there was one shot on film, which looked more of like a soft white. And then there was a digital shot film where it was all the way white. And they had to pick one or the other for different interpretations of how they showed the film. But for this 4K restoration, they were actually able to kind of sort of combine the two and make the best of both worlds and take the film print they had from the 35mm transfer and kind of put on a lot of digital effects onto that to make the whites pop but still have a very filmic effect to the transfer. I thought it was solid. It's nothing that's going to blow you away like I have seen in a lot of other 4K discs, but it's still a solid transfer. Sound here, again, it's 5.1. I don't mind 5.1 over Dolby Atmos. I'm more of like a Dolby Vision fan than I am a Dolby Atmos fan. I think sound is sound, and if you sound good in 5.1, you're going to sound good in 7.1. I would say both of those combined, the TNA factor of this movie is probably a solid 7 out of 10.
Nice.
It's nothing that's going to blow you away, but I watched both the 4K and the Blu-ray, and there is a bit of a step up from that 4K disc that's on here as opposed to the Blu-ray disc that is included in the set as well. And before we get into the packaging side of things, I do want to pop up my Letterboxd review right there just so you get a little bit more sense of how I kind of thought about the film. But oh my God, I had no idea the star of this film was Caleb Landry Jones. I love this man whenever he pops up in anything, and I feel like he had a big rush of films from like 2012 to 2017, and then he's really like disappeared from the mainstream, at least. Like he was in 3 Billboards, he was whoever was the Screecher in X-Men First Class. Banshee, is that his name? Banshee? I want to say it is. He was in The Social Network. He was just a character actor that popped up in a lot of things, and anytime he popped up, a smile was put on my face. So I was thrilled to see that he was the main character in Antiviral. Absolutely loved him. The cast, all in all, very, very solid in this release, in this movie as well. But for this in particular release, it's a little bit bare bones from Severin, and that kind of stinks because I can just imagine, I'm not asking for a big box set or anything, but Severin makes amazing slipcovers. How did Antiviral not get a slipcover release?
So hey everybody, Future Jake here, and after doing a little bit more research, the copies that I got are just the standard editions. Over on Severin's website, they actually do have exclusive slipcovers for all of these releases. Specifically for Antiviral, they have even a 3rd disc with the can cut, which I'm very curious to see what that is now after watching the movie. But it shows that there's like 7-8 minutes of additional footage in that cut, and the slipcover looks gorgeous. But for this review, I will not be taking that into effect because I don't have it in my collection. I just wanted to let you know that it was out there. So let's get back to past, Jake.
There are 3 new releases from Severin that are coming out. Either they're out now or they're coming out later this month. And all 3 of them did not come with slipcovers. I feel like at the very least, throw a slipcover on this thing, my score would be a lot higher, because as is, it's kind of bare bones, but Severin boutique bare bones, it's still very, very nice. I like the cover artwork that they decided to go with. Unfortunately, there's no reverse artwork to be had on this release, but we have a lot of information jam-packed on the back, like Severin is always akin to do. And then I like the artwork. It's simplistic, and I like that, and I'm such a fan of like artwork on the discs. This picture plays a major role in the film. I'm not going to spoil it here. And this, Caleb Landry Jones is a master at the art of like waking up. He probably wakes up from either being knocked out or from a deep slumber in this film 5 or 6 times, and every time he does like a different quirk when he wakes up. Masterful wake up artist right here. Discs are solid. This release is solid, but without a slipcover, I cannot give it higher than a 7. If a slipcover is on this sucker, it would go into the 8 or 9 range. But as is, I'm gonna stick with a solid 7. It's nice. It's just not blowing me away here. But we go into the special features. This is where my mind started to be blown a little bit because there's a lot of archival release special features on this, which I did not know that there was a DVD or Blu-ray of this movie. Kind of makes sense, but it must not have been out for that long because I did not know this had a release at all. This is the worldwide UHD premiere for Antiviral, which is very cool. But what is cool is that along with this was originally released by Alliance Pictures. So there's a cool making of documentary here. It's about half an hour long. It's a featurette is what they call it on here. Anatomy of a Virus, making of featurette. Very well done. And then there's a lot of smaller first meeting with actors Caleb Landry Jones and Sarah Gadden, design of Antiviral, interview with production designer, and then manufacturing celebrity. All of those are pretty much excerpts from the 30-minute making of featurette, which is kind of a bummer. Like I felt like I was wasting my time watching those because I already watched those. There's maybe 30 seconds in like that 2-3 minute tidbits of those other bullet point features on here that made it worth watching, but it's not really worth watching. If you just watch the making of featurette, you get 95% of all of the other bullet points here. But there are 2 other things on here that I love to see. First up, Severin brought in Brandon Cronenberg to talk about the film in a commentary, but they also brought him in to talk about the restoration factor, a new special feature on here, Reviving a Dead Cell. Brandon Cronenberg and Karim Hussein discussed the restoration. That's where I talked to you about the 2K, the 4K, the 35 millimeter. All of that was in that special feature. And it's also very cool to kind of see when Brandon Cronenberg was making the first making of featurette in 2012 and just seeing the transformation or lack thereof transformation facially as a person from 2012 to 2024 when that other special feature was filmed. Dude looks like he hasn't aged a day. It's kind of crazy. But the other thing that I love to see on any type of physical media release is digging into that filmmaker's filmography back into the past. And this one makes all the sense in the world for being on this disc. It includes the short film Broken Tulips, which was written and directed by Brandon Cronenberg. And literally it's 8 minutes long. That 8-minute chunk is more or less sucked out and put into Antiviral, and the first 15-20 minutes of Antiviral go over the events of Broken Tulips. Like I said, he had a great idea here for Broken Tulips. I didn't like the short film that much, but I'm still happy that it was on this release, just to kind of get more insight into a director's filmography. I'm such a sucker for going through and seeing the evolution of a director, and seeing all of his short films is part of that evolution. There was a short film on Possessor. There's a short film on Antiviral. I just love seeing that stuff in my physical media points or my physical media releases, and I'm giving it brownie points for that. I would say special features wise, they took everything from the old, they added a little bit of the new, they added a little bit extra with the short film. I'm giving this release an 8. I think it's very, very solid. I wish there was kind of more with Brandon Cronenberg. I'm glad that there was at least something new. Maybe I'm being greedy for wanting a little bit more. It's like an 8, 8.5. I'm not going to round up to a 9 though. I think I'm going to stay at an 8. Solid release here. So altogether, my total score for this release is a 22 out of 30. But again, that's only going over the 3 factors that I rank physical media releases on. Like you saw a little bit earlier in my Letterboxd review, I gave this movie a 3.5 out of 5. I thoroughly enjoyed it, even though it is odd. My other releases of Brandon Cronenberg, this is right in the middle of his filmography. I loved Possessor with a passion. I thought Infinity Fool, that's what I kind of thought of the movie. I thought Infinity Pool was kind of getting high on your own supply, like thinking that you have a great solid script, but there wasn't a lot really going on. There's a lot of visual coolness to it, but that's about it. Antiviral is right in the middle there, and I'm still very excited to see what is up next from Brandon Cronenberg, and I can't wait to see what boutique label comes out with his next release, because man, I'm living good in 2025 with the amount of great physical media goodies that are coming from Brandon Cronenberg. That is my review, folks. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, if you want to see more, please subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to come out with physical media reviews at least once a week here. Next one I'm going to film up next is Don't Torture a Duckling from Arrow Video. I'll get into that in one of my future videos. But thanks for watching, and until next time, I'll see ya. Caleb Landry Jones, the master, the nap master, it's not a nap master. He's the master of waking up or like being groggy when he wakes up. Hi, everybody. If you've made it this far, congratulations. You found the after credit scene. Good for you. You did it. I didn't even warn you in this video. You just stayed all the way to the end. I appreciate you. And because you are one of the diehard fans that made it to the very end, I'm going to give you a bonus question to answer here. And that question is, what are your thoughts on Brandon Cronenberg, and what movie do you think is your favorite within his filmography? I love his style. There's no other better way to say it. Like, there are some directors that have a style and it kind of categorizes them, and I feel like they're a lot of style and no substance. Possessor is such like a masterclass to me in like the genre bending film that it is set in. Love it so much. And you can see that on full display with Antiviral. I need to give Infinity Pool another watch, because honestly, I remember I saw this is the only one that I've seen in theaters, because I was such a fan of Possessor. I needed to go and see whatever he had next in store. And it was fine. It was just okay. I wanted way more out of it, if I'm being honest. But again, I need to rewatch it, and maybe next time I watch it, I will be more of a fan of it. But yeah, look at this stack, people. Oh god, everything's spilling out. Just a second, there we go. Look at this stack, people. No edits after the credits. You get to see that whoopsie. Infinity Pool, Antiviral, Possessor. Which one of these three are your favorite? Do you also bonus question, do you like seeing the short films? Do you like seeing the progression of a director's filmography? Or am I just the weirdo who loved taking film theory class in college, and that bug has never left me in seeing like how a person evolves with the projects that they're crafting? Let me know that in the comments as well. And to end things out here, let's see here. We zoomed in on Caleb Landry Jones to begin this after credit scene. Let's zoom into these luscious lips. Here we go. Bye-bye. Kissy smoochies.